All right, y'all. Where my mic at? My mic working? Let's see who's online tonight, man. All right, let's see here, man. I am on Instagram. I am on YouTube. And I am on... Wait a minute. Let me fix this because I don't want my comments coming in sideways. Don't want that. All right, there we go, y'all. I'm fixing my situation so that I can see what's up, y'all. I'm getting my cameras together right now. That's why I'm moving around. I am on Instagram. Right now I'm on Instagram. I am on YouTube. And I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook right now. I'm trying to get my cameras together because I'm on so many different platforms right now that I'm trying to just get myself tuned in here, right? You know what I mean? Y'all know I'm a simulcast, so I use a lot of cameras. You see what I'm saying? All right, man. I'm here, man. I'm up in this motherfucker, man. I'm a little better than I was. I've been better, but I've been better. But last week I wasn't in the position I'm in now. Gold Mine, I see you, man. What's going on? I'm trying to fix my cameras right now, man. I didn't realize my other camera was coming in sideways, so it kind of impairs my vision. It kind of impairs my vision when I am trying to get everything in order, man, you know. All right, y'all, what's up, man? What's going on, man? What's the deal? Madd Ronald up in this motherfucker, man. It is, man, it's been a hell of a week for me, man. Shit, man, I'm just chilling though, man. Y'all know I've been fighting that COVID-19, man. You know I have a motherfucking, I got pneumonia right now. And at the same time, I'm still fighting the COVID, man. But, you know, I'm taking care of myself. Fortunately, I'm healthy as a motherfucker, and I'm able to bounce back. But believe it or not, man, that shit whooped my motherfucking ass. And I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all, man. I ain't going to sit there and try to make up no excuses. I ain't going to sit there and try to be funny about it or nothing. Hey, man, that COVID-19 is real, man. Today was my first day I got up and started moving around, man. And I'm telling y'all something that's interesting, man. I woke up this morning. And, man, I woke up and the sun was shining, man. It was early in the morning. And I thought about it, man, and it was crazy to me, man, because you know that I said, damn, I woke up, I'm in my own bed, man, the sun's shining. I ain't got no ailments or nothing, man. Then I thought about last week. I said, damn, man, you know, last week I was on a breathing machine. Last week I had motherfucking tubes stuck all in me, and they was giving me injections in my stomach 3 times a day to make sure that I didn't get blood clots from the COVID-19. I entered the hospital, man, with a temperature of 100.5. As they told me, they said, damn, you on the verge of having a major stroke or a seizure. I was like, damn, that sounds crazy, man. And then this week, man, I'm like me, I'm just doing me. And the amazing thing about it, the thing that's so amazing is that, I mean, right now, man, I feel good as ever. Everybody telling me, man, take it slow, man. You know, get some rest. I said, I am, man. I went out this morning. When I got up, man, I went out, washed my car. What I do? I went shopping, grocery shopping, and just jumped in the car, man, and did some swerving, man. You know what I mean? But the thing about it was that the cool thing about it was that, you know, it was just good to be able to just get up and do something, man. You know, the considering the elements of dealing with the COVID-19, what it did to me it kind of slowed me down a touch because of the fact that I was on oxygen for about a week. And considering the fact that I was on oxygen, the thing about that is this here. When they put me on oxygen, my breathing capacity was somewhere in the area of about 40%, man. I was down for the count, man. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move or nothing. I was literally down for the count, man. But you know, they put me on oxygen machines, and they got me all built up. But if I wasn't healthy and if I didn't live a clean lifestyle with no drugs, no smoking, no alcohol, you know what I mean? If I don't eat pork, I don't eat beef, I don't eat sugar, I don't eat salt, I barely eat butter. You know what I mean? It's things like that would help me to come back off of that. But this is the thing about it too that's so interesting, man, that my health and my diet are what got me out of the hospital so fast. And it's just crazy, man. You know, I see Bishop K. Donnell Smith Sr. says, good to see you, homie. Hey, man, homie, it's a blessing to be here, homie. And it's good to see you also. You know what I'm saying? And man, I swear to you, man, Melissa Mitchell said, glad you're feeling better. God is good. Melissa, I'm glad I'm feeling better. I mean, a lot of people going in them hospitals for their COVID-19 and not coming back out. Thankfully, I'm not one of them. And I'm telling y'all right now, I commend and I praise those doctors and nurses because of the fact that they made sure that I was all right. They made sure that I had a healthy recovery. And the thing about that was that when I with the doctors and nurses, man, they was more worried about me than I was. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that my reality is that I'm sitting down, I'm in the hospital, I'm on my back, man. I'm laying down, I'm looking at the ceiling, I can't do nothing. I can't even move, but they're making sure that I'm all right. You know what I mean? And I think, and I have a greater understanding of the fact that our healthcare workers are very, very underappreciated. And I'm telling y'all that because of the fact that, let me tell y'all something. They got floors in the hospital where I was at in California where I was in isolation. Anybody that's conscious and knows anything about COVID-19, you know that the people up there are in isolation. And they had me in isolation. They had me, I'm talking about literally when you see a doctor come in, this motherfucker coming in here, look like he got on a radioactive suit. Like he got on them suits like you radioactive. The doctor coming, that motherfucker looking like a spaceman. But the thing about it is that serious. You know what I mean? And I'm keeping it 100 with y'all, man. The thing about it is that just that serious, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling y'all, man, I was in there, man, and I looked at, it was crazy to me the way the things was, man. I'm so fortunate, and I appreciate, once again, everybody and all of y'all. I truly appreciate your prayers, your well wishes, and your support. Because let me tell you something, every day I couldn't do too much, but I could read social media, and I was overwhelmed with prayers and people just wishing me well and people just wishing for me to be better. I was totally overwhelmed by all of that there. So you know what I mean? I can return all of y'all, everybody. I can reply to everybody's well wishes and stuff, but I can say everybody right now, thank you. And I'm truly appreciative of that because of the fact that I was on my back. And I'm telling y'all the real, I was down for the count. And I ain't lying to you. And it was so crazy, right? I'm gonna tell y'all what was crazy. And this is crazy right here, right? I had COVID-19 and knew I had it. And if y'all watch my videos from last week when I was doing my live videos, and I was telling y'all last week that I had COVID-19. This is before I ever went to the doctor. I told y'all I had COVID-19, right? And I knew I had COVID-19 because I was coughing and gagging, and I thought I had the flu. But the funny thing about that was that I'm coughing and gagging, but I don't have a sore throat. At the same time, I'm coughing and gagging. I don't have a runny nose. I don't have no symptoms of the flu. I'm just coughing and gagging. After a few days, I came to the greater realization of coughing and gagging because I can't breathe. Just so happens that Nehemiah Smith says, hi. Hello, Nehemiah Smith. How you doing? Polo Vive says, happy to see you. Well, big homie. Thank you, homie. I truly appreciate that. The WRSG Rambo said, what's rolling, OG? Good to see you back. Greenville, South Carolina, checking in. That's right, homie. Shout out to Greenville, South Carolina. The interesting thing was that, like, I was sick, right? So I don't know if y'all didn't hear, if y'all never didn't tell y'all my story. last week I was sick, and I figured I knew I had COVID-19. I couldn't breathe, right? And I was getting worse. Now I don't have no underlying issues. I don't do no drugs. I don't smoke. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't drink. You know what I mean? I live pretty much a clean, healthy lifestyle. I had actually felt it getting worse, and I knew what was going on. I called my son. I told my son, I said, man, I need to go to the hospital. When I called my son and told my son I need to go to the hospital, I was having an attack. And I don't have asthma or nothing, but the attack that I was having, my lungs felt like rubber, and I couldn't get no oxygen. I was literally could get no oxygen. I'm talking about, the brain can only go for about a good maybe 60 seconds at the most without oxygen. Because think about the amount of time that it takes to throw somebody in a swimming pool and the amount of time that person would have before their brain dead. And I was telling my son, I said, man, I need to go to the doctor. My son, right when my son came in, I was having an attack. I could not breathe at all. I could not breathe. Before he got here, I was in the bathroom curled up on the floor because of the fact that I was trying to get air in my lungs. My son came through the door and looked at the way I was looking, and I was damn near out of here. My son grabbed me and took me downstairs, and by the time, I guess it was the air or whatever it was, but by the time I got downstairs, my lungs opened up. And the crazy thing about that was that about when the paramedics came, they took my vitals and they checked my oxygen, they took my temperature, and they told me I didn't have a temp. They told me I was all right. The paramedics came and told me I was okay. They showed me on the monitors, my heart rate was all right. They showed me that I didn't have no temperature or nothing. I went and I had it. He said, well, go to the hospital and get checked for COVID-19. So what I did was I went to the hospital. I live around the corner from the hospital, actually. I live by California Hospital. So I actually went to the hospital. And when I went to the hospital, crazy thing about that was that I said, I just want to get tested for COVID-19. They took my temperature and they did my vitals. So my expectation is, because I told my son to go home after he dropped me off. He dropped me off. I said, just go on home. I'll call you if I need you. Because my expectation was just to get confirmed that I had it and go and drive home. I was going to head home after that, right? Man, let me tell you something. They came back to me with a wheelchair. They put me in the chair and took me up to the isolation floor. They said, you tested positive for COVID-19. They said, you have a temperature of 100.5 degrees. You are on the verge of having a major stroke or a seizure. Then at the same time, they told me at the same time, they said, your oxygen level is somewhere in the area around 40%. The typical, our oxygen levels as human beings is supposed to be about 90%. They were doing all this here and telling me all this here. I was shocked. And let me tell y'all the cold thing about it was. The cold thing about it was that when they put me in that bed, I swear to you, for some reason, when I laid down, I couldn't get back up. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get no oxygen. It was killing me just to try to sit up on the edge of the bed. They put me on a breathing machine. They put me on the breathing machine. So when they put me on the breathing machine, Braylon Sherfield says, happy to see you well, big bro. Hey, man, thank you, man. I'm happy to be here, man. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. You know what I mean? K. Kerm Green says, so once the COVID-19 is gone, will the pneumonia still be in you? None. They can get rid of the pneumonia. They don't have a cure, I don't think, for the COVID-19. I was on that they put me on that new drug. For COVID-19, they put me on that new drug. What's it called? Risperdal or something like that. There's a new drug that they're testing out on people for COVID-19. And they put me on that. I was on the drug. They was giving me an IV for like twice a day for like 2 hours. I was on Risperdal. And then something else that they were doing was that because with black people, anybody that knows with black people, COVID-19 causes blood clots in your lungs. So what they were doing for my blood clots, morning, afternoon, and night, they had to give me an injection with a needle that was like maybe an inch long, right in my stomach, right above my navel. right above my navel. I had to get stuck with this needle, and that was going on like shit. That was going on that was 3 times a day right there. But let me tell you, that kind of fucked me up too, because the thing that fucked me up is that when they were shooting me in the stomach, right now I'm having spasms. But I only been out the hospital since Thursday. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm just living with it and dealing with it right now. But they let me out because of the fact that my great advantage is my health. Like I said before, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do no drugs. At the same time, I don't eat beef, I don't eat pork, I don't eat salt, I don't eat sugar, I don't drink milk. So the thing about it is crazy. Goldmine says I had that shot. Oh, you know what I'm talking about, Goldmine, for the blood clots. They were shooting me because they were shooting me in the stomach, man, and that shit was killing me. Right now, I'm having spasms because at a certain time of day, they did it regularly because of the fact that it was part of the medication. So now what's going on with me basically is the fact that from them doing it so much, I'm having spasms, and it used to make me feel, and it shit make me feel weird because it make me feel bloated, and it make me feel kind of nauseous and stuff. K. Kerm Green said, "So did the drug or COVID cause it? Did it cause what? Did the drug or COVID cause what? The pneumonia? What are you asking me? Did it cause pneumonia? Because in reality, the COVID is in. I think COVID-19 is just in the air, man. And man, it was just crazy though. I'm telling y'all, hey, I'm so thankful, man, that I'm here. Let me tell you something, man, and I'm keeping it 100 with y'all, man. It's people going up in that hospital, man, and they not coming back out, man. COVID-19 is for real, homie. The whole coronavirus, I don't give a fuck what you think, how you feel, who you think you are. Man, if you out there and if you out here smoking blunts with people and drinking with them and y'all all grouping up and all this extra shit, man, y'all need to stand down. Because I'm telling you the honest to God truth. Because, hey, man, it's a reality, man. Hey, that shit had me down, homie. I swear to God, man, I was fighting for my life. And that's some crazy shit considering from this week to last week, man. Anybody that saw the video that I put up last week when I was in the hospital, man, COVID-19 literally had me fucked up. And I found myself, homie, fighting for my life, literally. I had a COVID-19 attack. And the cold thing about that shit is you just think it don't take nothing but a few seconds to deprive the brain of oxygen before you would be brain dead. At the same time, it only takes a few seconds to deprive the heart of oxygen before you could have a major heart attack. Man, I don't know what, man. I swear to God, that was some crazy shit, man. I'm just thankful, man. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta be. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I gotta be thankful, man. It's people dying in them hospitals, man. They got floors, man, where the motherfuckers you look like some shit out of a sci-fi movie, man. I'm talking about when I was on the floor, man. I'm on the floor, man. They taking me in the room, and they got plastic sheeting all over the beds. They got like plastic sheeting hanging down from like the ceiling to the floor over your bed. So it's like you're not only isolated, but you're isolated into your space because the doctors and nurses are scared of getting sick also. That's how bad this shit is, man. I was like, wow, man, this shit was an amazing experience. You know what I mean? K. Kern Green said, why do you seem like all of the people who don't do none be the ones that get all the sickness quicker? I'm not, when I speak of the stuff that I do of how I live and how not doing no drugs or nothing, I'm that way because of the fact that, now watch this, I don't smoke. So COVID-19 I have a lesser chance of getting it. And if I got it, then everybody better be cautious because I don't ingest any kind of smoke into my lungs. At the same time, COVID-19 is a upper respiratory illness that attacks your lungs. I don't drink milk. Milk causes phlegm and mucus in the lungs. So if you have something that's attacking your lungs and it's a virus, at the same time, your lungs are full of fluid from like mucus and phlegm. That's something else that's going to increase your your how do I want to say that? That's something that is going to make you more susceptible to COVID-19. Then at the same time, my great advantage was that. Now listen to what I said. I went into the hospital with a temperature of 100.5. I was pulling a fever on the verge of a major stroke or a seizure. The only thing that got me out of there so fast is the fact that I live such a healthy lifestyle that once they were able to control the fever and get my vital signs under control, which wasn't hard because I don't have salt in my system and diabetes or sugar or anything like that. That my advantage is that by way of my way of living, I'm not in the world giving it to myself, killing myself with nothing outside of me. See, in order for me to get it, I had to get it from outside in the air somewhere. I had to get it from inhaling somebody else or something from someone else somewhere because of the fact that first and foremost, if you're smoking weed, if you're drinking, and I'm drinking, if let's just say I'm drinking weed with somebody else and they got it, right? They can give it to me. And that's why I'm telling everybody else to be cautious and protect yourself. Because let's just say, for instance, now I was strong enough to fight it. It took me a week and a half. I went through a motherfucking fight for my life for a week and a half, literally. Lived on a motherfucking breathing machine. You understand what I'm saying? Running, like I said before, running a fever of 100.5 degrees, right? I'm out the hospital right now, alive, healthy, and well, with no problems. I'm just recovering right now. At the same time, I'm fighting pneumonia also. But my advantage is that I'm not exposed to others. I'm not taking in other people's germs by smoking weed with them. I'm not taking in smoke itself and fucking up my lungs. At the same time, I'm not drinking milk, creating that phlegm and that fluid in my lungs. And at the same time, the cleaner your lifestyle is, the better. And I'm gonna tell y'all something that's so interesting to me that they didn't notice, and it really tripped me out. The thing that tripped me out was that they were giving me milk in the mornings and I was drinking the milk at first. And the milk was giving me a lot of mucus and phlegm and I couldn't breathe. And I'm on a breathing machine and I can't breathe. I got to get up in the middle of the night and just blow my nose and I'm blowing blood out of my nose. The funny thing about that is the milk is creating all of this phlegm and mucus. And this is the crazy thing. Once I figured it out and stopped drinking the milk and I started getting better, and I'm talking about just from not drinking milk, I couldn't figure out why are the doctors giving me milk? You understand what I mean? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy as fuck to even think about. Tiara Chapman says, "What's up, Daddy? I see you're feeling better. What's up, daughter? How are you doing today?" And I am feeling a little bit better. I went out today and got my swerve on. I was out. You know, I took my truck to the car wash and went out and did some grocery shopping. And then when I did a couple other things and came home, I mean, it was just cool. You know what I mean? I enjoyed myself because of the fact that being that my kind of delay within my thoughts and my movements, it was good for me to get out in the world and interact. You know what I mean? Plus, at the same time, it's been about a week and a half. I got I miss driving my truck. I miss jumping in my truck and listening to my 1500 watt Zeus amp beat up the that 2000 watt subwoofer I got in there. So you know what I mean? I didn't do nothing but turn the oldies on and just get my swerve on. And actually it was a good day. You know what I mean? I can't complain. You know, that's like I say, hey man, life is good, man. It don't take much to make it that way neither. You just gotta appreciate it right now as it is. You see what I'm saying? If you got health, you got good health, man. Be appreciative of that much, man. Shit, we can work out the rest of this here, man. Shit, if you ain't got a job, all you gotta do is keep looking. But you got to be healthy to get out there and find your job. You know, all the money in the world ain't worth nothing, man. If you ain't got the right health. And somebody that always comes to mind, and somebody I always think about is Steve Jobs. If anybody know who Steve Jobs is, know that Steve Jobs is one of the founders of Apple. Steve Jobs had all the money in the world. That motherfucker is the motherfucker One of the man, that's Steve Wozniacki's partner. Motherfuckers behind the Macintosh, the iPhone, the iPad, the motherfucking goddamn, the iPad, the iPhone, all those Apple products, right? Motherfucker had all the money in the world, but he had cancer, and nothing in the world could stop cancer from killing him. I bet you he would have gave every dollar he had just to be able to just live another day. And that's crazy as a motherfucker, man. But if you ain't in good health, you can't enjoy nothing, man. I ain't lying to you. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? Tierra Chapman says, that's good. Call me if you need things. I will call you, Tierra, if I need any. I don't need nothing, Tierra. What the fuck I need? I got to think what the fuck I need. I gotta think of what the fuck I need. Damn, I don't want no Wingstop. I just ate. Me and Ronald just had Wingstop. I gotta think of what do I need. I think about it and think about if I need something. I might need some crazy shit. You know what I mean? I might need a parade. I might need a parade of elephants to come down my street with a motherfucking midget standing on top of them beating drums and shit. I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call and let you set that up for me. Rosa Burkell, what's up, Rosa? How you doing? But yeah, like I say, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you got to be careful. You got to protect yourself. Your health is everything. I don't give a fuck what nobody say, man. Your health is everything, man. Anybody that know me know how I am. They know I'm up. They know I'm on my feet. They know I move around. People know me, man. I live such a fucking clean lifestyle. It's crazy. I don't do nothing. I'm talking about literally in my everyday lifestyle, man. The last time I had alcohol, literally, well, when I thought I had the flu, I had a hot toddy, you know, with the Jack Daniels and the tea and the lemon and all that there. And I did that when I thought I had the flu. But that was last month. But actually having an actual drink of alcohol, I think I ain't drunk alcohol since about January or February. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Need some of that old pop lock. That's Gold Mine says needs some of that old pop lock. Gold Mine, we getting together, man. We're gonna do something big, man. When all this COVID-19 stuff is over, you know, we're gonna get together, man, and do we're gonna do something big, man. We going to one of these parks here. I'm going with y'all to the park. Hey, I'm gonna go up there and be the hype man, because y'all ain't finna have me up there pop locking, man. I'm finna go up there and be the hype man. I'm gonna be y'all hype man. I'm gonna be the one out there. I'm gonna be the one out there keeping the energy level up for you. You know what I mean? While y'all do what y'all do, man. But hey, I'm just thankful, man. I feel good. You know what I mean? I'm getting better. And shit, man. Let me tell you, man. After being up in that hospital, it was crazy. I told y'all, when you leave the hospital as a COVID-19 survivor, the crazy one of the things about that is that leaving the hospital, the nurses line the hallway when you leave the hospital. So there's somewhere in the area of about maybe 30 or 40 nurses in the hallway. And this is such a trip to me that they literally had me. I ain't gonna lie, and I ain't gonna talk that old gangster crazy shit. I had tears in my eyes because they were applauding me when I left the hospital. When you're a survivor of COVID-19, they applaud you when you leave the hospital, because there are so many people that enter in the hospital dying that they line the hallway up, and all the nurses and the doctors and everybody, they applaud you. It's crazy, man. I never knew how serious it was. And it's interesting to me because I'm on the other side now. I'm on the other side of it. But I know I was going to get through it. And this is the funny thing about it, right? I was talking to my sister. I was talking to my older sister. Me and my older sister was having a conversation. I called my sister from the hospital, right? My sister Marie Marino. I called her from the hospital. So me and her are talking, and I'm on the phone talking to her, and she says to me, my sister said to me, my sister said, you alive? my sister, she said, are you alive? I said, yeah, well, hell yeah, I'm alive. And then I'm bullshitting, playing with her. And I said, no, I'm not alive. I'm dead. I told my sister, this is a collect call from hell. So I'm clowning with her. Right. So, my sister said to me, she said, look, my sister said, I'm not even worried about your ass surviving. I'm not worried about you dying from this bullshit. My sister said, you survived gangbanging, You survived gunfire. Your ass survived prison. I don't know how many motherfucking times. My sister said, as much shit as you've been through, ain't no fucking COVID-19 finna take your ass out. You just too damn tough. And when she said that, I really thought about that shit. And I said, damn, she right like a motherfucker. I can't sit up here and, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just having fun right now and laughing because right now I feel good. Last week I didn't feel so good. Right now I'm in a position where I can make fun of it. But one of the things that she was right about is the fact that I've been through so much that I don't think it's going to be some shit like a fucking a disease in the air that's going to kill me. At the same time, as strong as I am, I believe me, I done been through the motherfucking ringer and back. You know what I mean? Carlito Jones says, glad to see you are better. Thank you very much, Carlito Jones. Thank you thank you just for the well wishes. Like I say, once again, I got to thank all of y'all for y'all well wishes. I got to thank all of y'all for y'all support and y'all prayers. And don't forget, support my platforms. Don't forget my platforms, y'all. Don't forget Madd Ronald Radio Network. Don't forget MaddRonaldRadio.net. Don't forget the Madd Ronald Radio Network podcast on Facebook. Don't forget Madd Ronald Radio Vision on motherfucking YouTube. Don't forget all that there. Those are my platforms. You like, subscribe, share. You know what I mean? And follow all that shit, man, because I got good shit coming out. If y'all didn't check out my latest podcast, y'all go to Madd Ronald Radio Network, man, and check out the podcast. It's let me tell y'all some real. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. And this is how I motivated, how I keep myself motivated, keep my mind motivated. I was laying in a motherfucking bed, and I will bullshit you not 100%, and I swear to you, I'm gonna keep it 100. I had to do a motherfucking podcast, laying in the bed, talking in my phone on the recorder at like 3 a.m, laying up in the hospital when I could barely even fucking talk. I said, I want to do, because I did that because of the fact that I just wanted to be able to put out some good content. And I just wanted to be able to put out some stuff so that I just had something to do. You know what I mean? Because one of the things about me, I'm one of those type of people that my mind got to be motivated, man. I got to be in a space where my mind itself is active. If I can't do nothing, if I can't talk, if I can't if I can't talk, if I can't do nothing else, I can talk. I can share my voice. I'm a true believer in the fact that my voice itself bears a lot of relevance. I believe that one of my great gifts in this world is the ability to be able to speak and enlighten people. I believe that one of my greater gifts is to be able to educate and teach. At the same time, I also believe that somewhere through here, when I'm one of those ones that as a child growing up, we grew up, and if you're old as me, you remember things like Aesop and the Aesop's fables and stuff like that. And that was like, they would sit around and tell these stories. Aesop had a series of I don't want to say fairy tales, I want to say fables that they told. And they had fables about giants and all kind of other shit. At the same time, the elders, what they did was, we passed down before religion and all this other stuff. There was a situation that what they did then, they had what was called folklore, where they talked about the elders before them and they told stories about them. And the thing about that was, that's how we learned about who we were related to, who we were attached to, who our people were, what our history was. And these are things that went on from years and years. This was a means in the way of entertainment for a long time. Because remember now, the TV sets and the radio was something new. But watch this. When I speak of the radio, and those that are old enough know this also, the radio itself. I remember when I was a kid, when we used to sit around the radio and listen to radio stories, like radio shows, right? This is something that I believe that I grew up doing. I grew up listening to as a little child before we got into all the TV, the DVDs, the MP3s, and all the other digital technology. So now we have podcasting. Now we have YouTube. I myself fell in love with the opportunity to be able to do these things. Queen Princess K says, I love you, big homie. I remember you fed me. God bless you. I love you too, Katrina. And truly, I do thank you and your prayers and everything. Me and you. We tight as ever. We've been that way since we was knee high to a grasshopper. You know that there. You my sister for real. And you know what I mean. And I never deny you that. You know what I mean. But like I say though, the thing is that to keep in mind, y'all, is that I remember when we did all that. So now fast forward, I like the podcast because I like to be able to share my voice. I like to be able to enlighten. I like to be able to tell the stories. I like to be able to give people information. It's just like me being a blood right now, right? And everybody want to hear all this old gang banging shit from me when they hear from me. But the interesting thing about that is this here. When you talk to me about being a blood, when you want to hear all that gang banging bullshit from me and all that, you can't. I don't talk about that like that because I don't live in that space anymore. I'm a blood because I'm that by culture. I'm a blood because I'm that by history. You see what I'm saying? I got more history in this probably than most of y'all been living. You see what I'm saying? I was a blood in 76. It's 2020. But this is the bigger picture right here. I'm not able to give a person that the dirt, the side, the barbecues and the house parties and the girls and the groupies and all that there. But I'll give your ass the cold reality. I'll give you the cold reality of going to over 300 funerals, losing over 300 homies. I'll give your ass the cold reality of motherfuckers trying to gun you down and be living in fear of for your life. I'll give your ass the cold reality of what the fuck it's like to live every day and have to walk the streets with a pistol, not because it was some fun shit or some cool shit, but because it was about 3 or 4 or 5 other motherfuckers in the world with pistols looking for you. I'll give you that reality right there. I'm gonna give you the reality to the point to where if you think about that this is a step that you want to take, something that you're gonna do when you think about it, when you evaluate it, when you look into this shit here for real, and you think about this shit for real, you're gonna have to first and foremost, before you think about the life of being a blood, you're gonna have to think about the death of being a blood. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna take into consideration before you think about the fun of this shit here, you're gonna think about the pain and the agony of this shit here. You see what I'm saying? Because if I'm gonna tell you the story, I'm gonna tell it to you right. If I'm gonna tell you the story, I'm gonna tell you that shit. I'm gonna tell you about being a blood, and I'm gonna tell your ass about sitting up in that prison cell. I'm gonna tell you about 5 trips to the state penitentiary. I'm gonna tell you about every bad motherfucker in the streets that I know. Every bad motherfucker that came before me, they either died or went to prison. And that's an honest, true reality right there. So, I mean, I got to be true when I tell you the story because of the fact that when I say that because of the fact that simply, if rather than for me to exploit or pollute your mind or to glamorize the bullshit, or for me to sit up and try to tell you some shit and make it seem like it was something that it wasn't, or to sit up and try to for me to try to be the one to advance from my knowledge and from my knowledge of knowing and your knowledge of not knowing. The thing about that is this here, and this is the greater reality of this here to take in mind and to consider. Before I do that there, I might have the opportunity to save your motherfucking life. Before I do that, I might have the opportunity to actually save your motherfucking life. Because if you understood and knew some of these realities, rather than thinking about running behind the crowd and hanging out with your homeboys and trying to be what they trying to be, and half of everybody ain't even half of what they claim to be, then you might get this shit some second thoughts and might fuck around and be somewhere else. Now, don't forget, this is Madd Ronald you're talking to. So I have the opportunity to tell you anything. I have the opportunity to exploit you in a million different ways. I have the opportunity to take control of your mind and tell your ass whatever I want to tell you for the better of my own benefit. I can tell your ass about joining the gang and all that there. But before I do that, I'm going to tell your ass about going to college. I'm going to tell your ass about doing something better in your life for the benefit of what's best for you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's my true reality right there. I mean, and like I say, I could talk a million things. I'm a motherfucker. I'm going on 53 years old. And I didn't get to be this old by being no goddamn fool. So I got to tell y'all that. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, I'm a blood by culture. I'm a blood by history. I didn't get jumped in no motherfucking gang. I was never initiated. I was never initiated, y'all. I was indoctrinated. You see what I'm saying? And that's a big difference right there. I wasn't a part of something where I jumped and joined because it was everybody else was. See, the thing about me that y'all got to consider is that I got 3 brothers and I'm one of the younger brothers. I got 3 brothers. I got 2 older brothers and a younger brother, and we all from the same set. So I never had a need to even be around a bunch of people or have a bunch of homies. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never had those social needs. You know what I mean? If people always wanted to be around me and be around my people, you know. But the reality of this here and the truth of this is that if I myself can give you a truth and a reality, if it's up to me myself to share with you what it is that I can share with you, if it's up to me to be able to tell you something that you could take with you and it's something that you can look at, something I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, I'm gonna tell you, look around, evaluate this shit. Don't be no fucking groupie. If this is something that you want to do, evaluate this shit. Keep it 100, keep it real. Because when I say evaluate this shit here, what I'm telling you is that this might be your motherfucking life that you're looking at the rest of your motherfucking life. Because you can be that one to think that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with these great fascinations with these fucking drugs and these weapons and everything else. Think that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for your people, for your homies, or however the fuck you want it to go. However you think it goes, right? And you can be that one. You can think that you that motherfucker, right? But all it takes is one slip up and fuck around and kill somebody, and your ass gonna be spending the rest of your life in a motherfucking prison. Maybe not the rest of your life, but your ass will get them motherfuckers about a good 25 solid. And if you ain't ready for that, you might not be ready for this bullshit here. This life might not be for you. You might be the one where you sitting up and you taking into consideration where you looking at the homeboys and you thinking about this shit here and want to get joined and all that bullshit there. And this the move you want to make and you thinking about it. But then what you better consider too when you're thinking about it and you looking at it and you evaluating it that way, you also better pay some understanding to the fact that when you sign up for this, you better sign up. You signing up for the rest of your motherfucking life. Well, I ain't gonna say you. I'm not gonna say you. I'm gonna say when I signed up, I signed the rest of my life. You and me might be two totally different people because of the fact that I understood commitment. I understood what I was a part of. I understood the fact that death came with this right here. I understood that I had to get prepared for some funerals. You understand what I mean? Because of the fact that through the indoctrination of this here, this became a situation like religion. You know what I mean? AMG Poppy Murder says, my uncle used to say that too. He said he didn't make it to 61 being stupid. You don't make it. You don't. If let me tell you something, man. In this life, you're gonna learn something. 90%, 99.999.9% of this shit is all bullshit. Believe this. You know what I mean? And when I say that it's all bullshit, this is what I mean when I say that, y'all. When we are young, we do things to impress our peers, or we do things out of pressure from our peers. So we do things and we act just to be acting. We do things just to be acceptable. We do things just so that we the one that they speak of and everybody thinks that we're cool. But there's a reality to this shit here, man. The reality to this shit is this here, and I'm keeping it 100 with y'all right now, man. I'm giving y'all the raw and uncut, and I can sit here and tell you a million fucking things and blow your head up with a bunch of bullshit. See, everybody hits me up with the gangbanging shit. That shit don't impress me because, homie, I myself personally, when I have a conversation, I only say blood to people that are bloods. At the same time, somebody that knows me from back in the days, and somebody who understands what this shit really was like, and they know that we got such a fucking respect for one another that we're not even on a level of where we got to wear red and try to play these roles, because we've been through so much real shit on the field that It's crazy. And when I say going through real shit, when I'm talking about gang life, I'm talking about a gang life of gang banging. See, y'all can't imagine living through a gang war. When I say gang war, I'm talking about a situation like the 20s and the 30s where motherfuckers, well, we literally as a child, I grew up in the midst of this shit. And I always say I was indoctrinated because I've been a part of it since 76. And this is the coldest fucking thing in the world about it. I remember every day, every night, every morning, there was a shooting. Somebody got beat the fuck up. Somebody got stabbed. Somebody got hurt. Something went down. There was retaliation. And this shit was a cycle of violence between two communities that are only about a fucking eighth of a mile away from each other. Jefferson Boulevard divides our communities. While all this is going on, and motherfuckers are getting killed. I'm talking about more than 1,000 motherfuckers being involved in a motherfucking gang war. Literally. And we are the only thing that divides us is one street. Between both our communities, you're probably talking about maybe 3 motherfucking miles because there's a divider line between us. The thing about all of that there, what I'm saying to you is that it's like this here. Within all of this, I'm talking about more than 1,000 motherfuckers involved in the fight. And I'm talking about hundreds of fucking bodies. Literally. I'm talking about hundreds. I'm talking about, I've been to more than 300 funerals. I'm talking about motherfuckers that were straight murdered. So when I'm telling y'all that, I'm telling y'all, I ain't talking about no old bullshit where we walking around the hood trying to do the blood walk and trying to be cool and all that there. I'm talking about a motherfucker living every motherfucking day in the motherfucking South Central LA state of mind, where a motherfucker literally living, we were living like we were in the Middle East. And I ain't talking about this shit going on for a day or two. I ain't talking about a week. We lived like this shit for decades. And that was just the way it was. It's like that right now in LA. The only thing about it is that they got guys like me that are involved in gang intervention that are also working with guys now from the others, from the adversarial side, that are from the 30s and other gangs that we make proclamations not getting along with, to where now we are more or less intervening and staying on top of this shit, so that therefore it doesn't blow up and blow out of proportion to the point where we start having drastic body counts and motherfuckers getting murdered. Because now, being as old as I am, with as much history as I have the ability to be able to step in sometimes. I have the ability to be able to step in and interact with maybe another OG that's on the same level as me, that has the same type of relationships that I have with his people. And he's able to talk to his people like I'm able to talk to my people. And what that does is that creates a situation where, and before this gets to gunfire, before this gets to motherfuckers drive-by shooting and killing each other, before this gets to the death toll, and before the funerals start to take place and the bodies start stacking up, we might be able to resolve this shit here with simple resolution. You see what I'm saying? Because there's such a thing as a non-aggressive agreement. And that means if two neighborhoods are going at it and there's bullshit going on, it's going down, what we can do if there's a non-aggressive agreement is that we ourselves can come together, cannot come together, but we ourselves are capable and able to come to a situation and create a situation where, okay, we can agree to leave each other alone. That's it. Because the reality of this is that there's nothing that men can't resolve among themselves as men. So that's very important right there. That's something very important to think about. That's something right there that's within intervention. But I say that because as men, we got to be fucking men. We got kids we raising in the middle of this shit here. This shit is something totally different. Tiffany Madds, glad you're up and moving around, bro. Hey, Tiffany, how are you doing? I'm glad I'm up and moving around too, Tiffany. I love you to death. You know, I don't think I don't remember you either. Don't think I don't remember you either. I remember you when we was kids. But like I'm saying to y'all, let me see here. Smoke Slime said, I was there when you came for the function. Oh, okay. You must have been in Georgia when I came there. And Cartoon said, first of all, are you feeling better, blood? Hey, Cartoon, I'm cool, man. I'm getting it together, man. You know what I mean? You see me online right now, right? This is good for me right here because I was on the oxygen machine for a week, man. You know, I was on the oxygen machine a week, man. I was having problems with my breathing. I was on that respirator, or whatever that shit is, that treatment they got for COVID-19. At the same time, man, I was on all this other crazy ass shit that they was doing, man. I was fighting for my life, man. It's so crazy because this week I'm here like this here, but this is the thing about it. This right here is healthy for me simply because of the fact that it kind of slowed me down due to the fact that I was on oxygen and due to the fact that I was running a fever. I was like 100.5 degrees. Then at the same time, you know what I mean? I was on the verge of a major stroke or in a seizure. You know what I'm saying? And then I got pneumonia and all that there. But this is the thing about it that's so good, right? The thing about it is this here. What's good for me is the fact that I'm able to exercise my mind. Like doing this right here and being able to speak and being able to go live is good for my mind. It's a good exercise for my mind because of the fact that what it does for me is that it grants me the opportunity and the ability to be able to interact with people and to be able to be and you know what I mean, to just, you know what I mean, process and you know what I mean, just utilize my sense of application. Because in reality, the other day, man, I was like, wow, I was slow and couldn't think and forgetting. You know what I mean? Right now, this puts me in a good space right there. You know what I mean? You know, and I'm doing what I do, cartoon. You know, I'm educating, man. You know what I mean? I'm giving people the information. See, they don't have a realization, man, of what we live through, man. You know what I mean? They don't have a realization of our appreciation of being here today, man, after living through so much. You know what I mean? And like I say, you know, I'm truly appreciative, man. You know what I mean? I'm truly appreciative. Cartoon 27th Street says, that's right, homie. I'm glad you are all right. Keep doing what you're doing. Hey, man. Hey, homie, I have no choice but to just keep doing what I'm doing, man. I'm thankful. I'm truly appreciative. Hey, man, the world is a beautiful place. I woke up this morning and the sun was shining. Hey, man, and I had to sit back and I had to reflect because I went to the hospital last week, man. I had a fucking attack and I damn near died, right? The interesting thing about that is this here, man. I went to the hospital, man, and it was motherfuckers. I'm on an isolated floor, man, and there are people on the floor that are literally dying from the same thing I'm in here for. I'm in here in the hospital. This shit damn near killed me. But the most interesting thing about that shit is I woke up today in my own fucking bed, able to get up, move around, do what I do. The first thing I did was go out and do some simple ass shit like wash my car and be thankful. You understand what I mean? I had to appreciate the people in the world around me. So, you know what I mean? Like I said a minute ago, man, you got to take care of your health because your health is very important. I don't give a fuck if you got all the money in the world, man. If your health ain't no good, you ain't no good. Y'all don't forget what I just said. Steve Jobs was the founder of Apple. Him and Steve Wozniak are the founders of Apple. These are the people behind your iPad, your iPod, your Apple TV, anything manufactured by them. These are the people behind that. Steve Jobs had all the money in the world. This man I watched when he previewed the touchscreen on the iPhone. I used to always watch him because I was amazed by watching the technologies. He had all the money in the world. Steve Jobs died of cancer. He would have gave, I bet you, and I'm willing to put money, he would have gave every dollar he had for the cure to that disease. I bet he probably would have gave every dollar he had just for another day on earth. You see what I'm saying? I'm blessed because I found myself fighting for my life a week ago. And I was given another fucking day on earth. I'm very thankful for that right there. I'm truly appreciative to any and everybody that gave me their well wishes, their support, their prayers. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I truly am humbled because of the fact that, like I say, you know what I mean? I can't sit here and be arrogant about this shit or nothing. You know what I mean? It's wild. Say he even created a vaccine. No, cartoon. Steve Jobs didn't create a vaccine. Steve Jobs died from cancer. They're working on a vaccine. They don't have a vaccine for COVID-19. I was on that. I was on the new treatment that they're doing. One of the things that helped me was I was on that new treatment. It's called Risperdal. I can't pronounce it. It's called Risperdal or something like that there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's crazy. You know what I mean? But I'm thankful, man. I made it. You know what I mean? I'm thankful to be alive, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm so fucking humbled. What humbles me, and I'm keeping it 100 with y'all. I'm people that know I'm a humble person anyway. One of the most humbling things in the world is that, man, all of the fucking well wishes, all of the support and the prayers I got, man. I'm on the internet, man, and I'm looking at Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all these other spaces and platforms I'm on. Man, I got well wishes and prayers coming in from all over the world. I never even thought a simple ass motherfucker like me from 27th Street and Dalton Avenue. I'm I'm happy if I'm happy if the people at the church on the corner praying for me. Man, I got thousands of prayers and well wishes, man, from so far out that the universe was working for me. And I'm just thankful for that, man, because of the fact that, man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm here today, man. You know, that day that Steve Jobs wasn't given, that he would have gave all his money for, I was given that day right there. I was given that day simply because of the fact that, you know, I guess it was meant for me to be here, man. You know what I mean? I fought a silent killer, man. They got a great body count, man. You know what I mean? And anybody that's watching the news, anybody that's keeping track of what's going on in the world, they know that COVID-19 is killing people all over the world. It's killing black people at twice the rate that it's killing anybody else. I was in that hospital. I was on that floor. Believe this, man. It's taking people out like a motherfucking mad ass hitman. That shit is for real. Protect yourself, mask up, protect your families. Don't have motherfuckers around you just coming around you bringing weird ass germs around you. And I don't, when I say weird germs, I just mean outside germs, unfamiliar shit. Be conscious, be cautious, because of the fact that believe this, that shit is real, man. You know what I mean? And I'm that way, and I gotta be that way. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that, man, it just because of the fact that it might not affect you so much, that don't mean that it won't affect your family members. That don't mean it won't affect them babies. That don't mean it won't affect them elders. Asymptomatic means that you can carry this shit and not even have symptoms of being sick. But you can be sick enough to make somebody else sick. You see what I'm saying? And that's the truth, and that's the reality of this here. And you gotta keep that in mind, man. We are living in some shit that we really can't control. We really don't have no understanding of it. And that's real, man. You know what I'm saying? Instagram. I'm finna start my Instagram over again because I know it's about to go off in about 3 minutes, right? So I'm gonna start. I'm staying on Facebook, y'all. So I'm not signing out on Facebook or YouTube. I'm still on with y'all. But Instagram, I'm signing out, and I'm signing out. So just log right back in because Instagram only gives me an hour to go live, and I'm at 58 minutes and 3 seconds. So anyway, everybody, don't forget, y'all support my podcast, support my platforms, maddronaldradio.net, the Madd Ronald Radio Network, on all major platforms, Google, Spotify, Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iTunes, iHeart, all those platforms. I'm on everybody's platform. Look up the Madd Ronald Radio Network. Catch the latest podcast. I literally did that from the hospital bed. Episode 14. Catch it. I literally did it from the hospital bed. You see what I'm saying? Hey, but anyway, this is what's about to happen. I'm gonna stay on Facebook. So Facebook, y'all don't log out. I'm staying on Instagram. I'm logging out and I'm logging right back in. So because this goes to IGTV right here. So I'm logging out on Instagram. Y'all log right back in. Y'all log right back in a second. All right. Like I was saying to y'all. Okay. End video. And I'm gonna share that to IGTV. Like I was saying to y'all, Facebook, I'm still on with y'all, man. I'm just getting my stuff together right now because I got Instagram only gives me so much time. So being that they do that, that means that I have to being that they only give me so much time, that means that I gotta log out and log back in with them. But at the same time, like I was saying to y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. I was I was literally sitting there fighting for my life. You know what I mean? And I'm able to be here today and talk about it. I got to be thankful for that, man. And like I'm telling y'all, everybody, if you looking, if you listening, and you paying attention, pay attention, because of the fact that it ain't no joke, man. And the thing about it is, and this is the reality, the thing about it is that COVID-19 is in the air, man. It's a hot summer. So the thing about this hot summer is that don't forget that we ourselves are susceptible to being able to come in contact. See, even though I had it, I can get it again. Now, it's interesting because what they're telling me I can be reinfected. But also, to the strain that I was affected by, my immune system is built up to the extent to where that wouldn't affect me and it wouldn't be so drastic. But at the same time, the thing about it to keep in consideration is that the infection rate itself, as far as being contagious, I couldn't catch it right now. Only way I can pass it on to anybody else is a simple means and way that they speak of right now with social distancing and all that other stuff. If I practice social distancing and I respect people's space, I don't have to worry about it. But the thing about that is this here. Somebody can come in my space with a stronger strain and they can infect me. But if the strain is the same as what I had, it won't bother me. You see what I'm saying? And it's kind of crazy, and it's crazy to even think about, because of the fact that to think about, you know what I mean, having to be able to understand where you're at in the world with this, you also got to take into consideration and think about, you know what I mean, what does it take to keep you safe? Because of the fact that you got to understand what does it take to keep you safe because of your families. If you have elders around, you got to be cautious and you got to be careful. And I'm telling y'all that right now. If you got elders around, you got to be cautious. You got to be careful. And when I tell y'all that, I tell y'all that because of the fact that what you don't want is you don't want to mess around and give it to somebody else and you don't know you don't even know you have it. That's the hard part about it. Because if you don't know you got it and you give it to someone else, man, you mess around and man, it'd be hectic. And when I say hectic, I mean that simply because of the fact that you don't want to endanger the lives of your loved ones. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to endanger their loved ones with something that might be controllable. So you know what I mean? And I'm telling y'all that because of the fact that, you know what I mean? We got to take that in mind. And we got to have an understanding of the fact that these things are real. You know what I mean? Kugo Ball said they just killed somebody else. Who did they kill? Kugo Ball said they killed somebody else. Who was killed? The police killed somebody? All right, let's see. Let me go back here now. And am I live yet? Let me see. I'm trying to go live, y'all. I'm trying to go live on Instagram. I don't think it's gonna let me go live okay, it's checking my okay. I'm live again on Instagram. Now, like I was saying, man, it's wild, man. It's crazy, man. You know what I mean? And shit. Hey, man. So my next question is: are there any protests? Are there protests still going on? I know that I know that they're protesting. I know that they were protesting today, but the protesting is kind of getting mild now. That's something that I've noticed because I was driving through Hollywood earlier and motherfucking protest looked like a goddamn dance party. So you know what I mean? But at the same time, I guess if people got to make their voices heard and they got to get out in the world and they got to do what it takes in order to bring attention to these hot button issues, then they got to do what they need to be doing. And I ain't gonna sit here and talk against it. I'm gonna support it 100% because we live in a space and a time where the voices of the people need to be heard. You know, some of this is good. I believe protest is good, but I got my own issues with a lot of this. And when we talk about protest, we talk about these issues. When we talk about the world, when we talk about the stuff that's going on in the world, all that shit is good when it's a big ass party. It's a hot ass Saturday. Motherfuckers ain't got nothing to do. The world is shut down. The world is shut down. And we're in a space where we're looking at the world from where COVID-19 got us all stuck in the house. We ain't got shit better to do but get out in the streets and walk and march. Don't forget when y'all out there doing that shit, COVID-19 is in the crowd. COVID-19 is walking right next to you. See, count how many motherfuckers ain't wearing masks out here. So then you're going to start counting how many people might be out here spreading the illness. Don't forget that. That's very important right there. That's something right there that is very vital and very important. But this is the thing about that too, when I'm telling y'all that, right? It's crazy. I'm in Carroll County, Georgia, and they just jumped on a young black teen boy going to get his paycheck, and they jumped on him. The police, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you the thing about me that I trip off of, right? Why do people think that the ways of the world are going to change simply because of protests? There's a systemic level of racism that exists in our judicial system, in our law, from the police department all the way up to the judges, all the way up to the lawmakers. There's a systemic racism. When I say systemic racism, when I say that, I'm talking about from the means and the ways of interaction and dealing with the police department. Think about this here, and this is what I mean when I say that. They are trained to deal with black people with more aggression than anybody else. They are trained and taught that black people are more. They're trained and taught that we're going to be more hostile than anybody else. Right? This is on a level of how do I say that word? What's the word I'm looking for? This is on a level of dealing with the police department I'm speaking of. So what I'm telling y'all is based on a level of, when I say dealing with the police department, I mean on a level of apprehension, of apprehending. So when I speak of being of a level of apprehending, I'm telling you from the time that you encounter the police, systemic racism is kicked in because of the fact that when it comes to interacting and dealing with the police, they are taught to deal with you in a certain way, hands up, guns drawn. If you make a move, they will gun you down. You see what I'm saying? These are the means and the ways that they're taught, to the extent to where when you look at the law, when you look at what happens in the world, you see, this is the problem right here. When we look at the world and we can take into consideration what it looked like, how it is, and what it be. People in the world will look up and say, well, the cops are shooting people all the time. It's not just black people. I want you to take into consideration and evaluate within your own mind. How often do black officers shoot unarmed white men or white people? Then I want you to flip that shit around and think about how often do white officers shoot unarmed or kill unarmed black men? Now, somewhere through here, you can see what I mean when I say systemic racism. Within the system itself, they are taught to be more aggressive with black people, whether it be by way of the chokehold, whether it be by way of shooting a man in the back while he's running away. You understand what I'm saying? By whatever means in whatever way. And then at the same time, when we speak of that systemic racism, I'm talking about a system, y'all. So this is what I'm giving y'all. What I'm giving y'all right now is a system, and I'm giving you an understanding of what systemic racism is. Because also what you got to take into consideration and understand is the fact that now when you get into that jail system, you understand what I'm saying? Your circumstance is going to vary and differ from what they would be for a Caucasian. Fine example I'm gonna give you. Anybody that knows it's 10 to 100, it's 10 to 100 within the cocaine law for between blacks and whites. When I say 10 to 100, when I say 10 to 100, what I mean is when I say 10 to 100, right? What I mean by that and what I'm saying to you by with 10 to 100 is that, okay, by law, it is a federal offense. By law, it's a federal offense to get caught with, let us say, what is it, 4 grams of cocaine, hard. 4 grams of rock can be a federal offense, if I'm not mistaken. For 4 grams of cocaine, you can get somewhere in the area of about 20 years if the federal government picked that up. 400 grams of soft cocaine. Is it 400 grams? It might be 40 grams. I forget because I haven't been reading the law on that lately, but I think it's 400 grams. If I'm not mistaken, it's 400 grams. Because it's 10 to 100, something like that. But 400 grams of soft cocaine would only get you somewhere in the area of about 4 years. And the reason for that is because of the fact that in the ghettos, young black men are not standing on corners selling bags of powdered cocaine. They're selling rock cocaine. So the federal government came up with that simply because of the fact that it granted them to have a greater level of open season on young black men. See, it's like in LA, we had Operation Hammer. And what Operation Hammer was, that was something when I was a kid growing up, when we were selling drugs, that targeted us. We couldn't figure out why in the jails that everybody looked like us, but everybody was in jail for drug charges, right? And this is the thing about it as I progress and as I'm speaking. This takes us into the courtrooms where a young black man stands a greater chance of not being granted bail. You see what I'm saying? Because or he has a bail that's granted that's so high that he just can't afford to get out. Because now we got to go back to we're gonna have to turn around and take a double reverse to the systemic racism and discuss gentrification and all that there to talk about why grandmama ain't got her house no more and mama and them can't afford to get him out. So he got to sit there and stay there. He's not going to be granted an OR, which means on recognizance, simply because of the fact that somewhere through here, they're going to make him a flight risk. To where if the little white kid is more or less going to come from a family or environment somewhere where they're going to be stable and they're going to have the finances and they're going to order credit and be able to make whatever moves got to be made in order to grant him an OR. One more time, we're going to go back into the systemic racism of black and white when we're going to look at the typical young black man that finds himself incarcerated on a felony charge, can't even afford a lawyer, considering the cost of what lawyers cost, to where if we double reverse this and we go back to the young Caucasian man, somewhere in the family, they got a fucking lawyer already on standby, on hold, or something of that nature, right? And as I progress and as I move along with this here, I'm just drawing out parallels side by side to give y'all an understanding of what it is and what it looked like. Because you have to have first a level of understanding of what systemic racism is. See, systemic racism doesn't stand against people themselves. When I say it doesn't stand against people, I mean that every white person ain't prejudiced. But there is a system that was put in place by their forefathers and their ancestors, and the system that was put in place by their forefathers and their ancestors back from the fucking beginning of time when you got off that when your ancestors got off that boat and during the transatlantic slave trade, and they started creating these laws to make sure that you weren't equal. See, remember now, there was a time we live under a Constitution of the United States of America when a black man was literally considered to be 3/5 of a human being. We live in a situation, if y'all don't know this, y'all go look this shit up. If I'm lying right now, if you think I'm lying, I want you to look this up and read this in the United States Constitution and in the fucking amendments. I forget, I think it's the 14th Amendment. I could be wrong. But it's one of the amendments. A black man's right to vote is not even a fucking law. It's an act. They have to go back and they have to have a motherfucking vote on this ever so often just to grant black people the right to vote. It's the Voter Rights It's the Voter Rights Act of 1965, to which I think if it wasn't, I think it was Lyndon B. Johnson. If it wasn't Lyndon B. Johnson, it was under Kennedy. But that's what Martin Luther King was pushing, the Voter Rights Act of 1965. And the cold reality of that is that when we look at this for what it truly is, when we think about it for what it truly is, see, this is that system of racism. Because to think about that system of racism that I'm telling you about, to have an understanding of that system that I'm telling you about, the thing about that is this here. The thing about that is that that system exists in order so the fact that you yourself don't have 100% of rights and equality that are granted to you by that United States Constitution that was written when you yourself, or well, not you, but when your ancestors were considered to be no more than property, right? So, you know what I mean? It's like, hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. I got to shut my door before it get loud in here. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Now, like I was saying to you, and I'm explaining this to you about systemic racism because you got to have an understanding of why things are the way they are when it comes to policing black people. And what I'm doing is I'm just drawing a roadmap so that you guys have an understanding. And I'm explaining to you why the police can kill a black person and not have to be accountable. And I want y'all to have an understanding of this here. The police got three things. I'm first of all, I'm gonna give you an understanding of what my experience is and why I know so much about this. I worked for the Los Angeles Mayor's Office of Gang Reduction and Youth Development in the city of Los Angeles for 3 years. I literally worked for the mayor. I have attended training with the Los Angeles Police Department. I have been in the simulator where we sit here and determine when to and not to shoot. I've literally been in the simulator. I've literally, it's like a video game. It's like a video game. And the thing about it is that's when you determine when to and not to shoot. And what the police have on their side is two things. And if you don't know, you won't know. It was a shot that the officer that killed George Floyd was charged with murder. But it wasn't a shot. And I'm going to tell you why. It was a shock that he was charged with murder because he committed the act in a uniform, but he would never be charged with first-degree murder because he was wearing a uniform. A police officer has never been charged with first-degree murder that killed a black man while he was in the uniform because of the fact that he's acting under the job description in which he is ordered to do. That is the thing about that. So when you're looking at a situation and you can't figure out why it's happening the way it's happening, he's sent into the world to do certain things that normal people won't understand. Now, if that officer's in uniform and he kills somebody in uniform, there's no way in the world they can give him a first-degree murder. The only way they can give him a first-degree murder is if they can prove that within his own mind that he left the house this morning with the intent and idea to go out and kill this specific person. It's the only way he can do that. But this is the bigger picture to what I'm explaining to you. The reason that another reason they would never get what's called a first-degree murder is, and now George Floyd, this is why the officer was convicted. When something happens and an officer does something and somebody gets killed, the first thing they're going to do is revert back to the officer's training because that is the preparation to get him ready for any drastic or exigent circumstances that might take place in the street. That means that if a motherfucker pull a gun, an AK-47 out and starts shooting and he kills him, then he understands exigent circumstances. You understand what I'm saying? To the extent to where they're gonna ask you what happened. First thing they're gonna do, and this is listen to this and listen well because you guys need to understand, need to hear this, and need to know this. What they're gonna do is first thing when a police officer kills somebody, they're gonna isolate that officer because that's his story ain't supposed to be told to nobody until he speaks to three people, excuse me. He's gonna speak to a union representative. He's gonna speak to a media person. And he's going to speak to a fucking lawyer that the police union is paying for. He will never tell his story because the narrative will be created by these three people in order to drive and direct the story to make it justifiable. That is why when you hear the story and they tell it and you be saying, wait a minute, it didn't happen like that. People going to say shit didn't go down like that. I know shit didn't go down like that there because I saw it. Right? Though they're gonna, you will never hear the officer. The officer, a police officer will never tell his story. You will hear it told by a media person. You'll hear it told by his lawyer, but and the union person that's going to represent the police union to tell the story. Now, this is one of the main keys to this here to have a greater understanding of and what justifies a shooting. On behalf of the police department and anybody that disputes me, I want you to check out what I'm saying and tell me if I'm lying. If I'm lying, then you correct me. The greatest level of justification between the police department shooting an unarmed man, an unarmed black man, when they say, why did you shoot him? The man was running. The man had his back turned. The man was climbing a fence. You understand what I'm saying? The man had his hands in the air. You know what I'm saying? The man that was laying on the ground, handcuffed behind his back. Why did you shoot him? This is what saves policemen. And this is one of the things that you guys don't understand about the police. All the police has to do is say, at some point, it was to my belief that my life was in danger. Those words right there are the get out of jail free card for any police officer. If a police officer says, when they killed Oscar Grant was on the fucking in the BART station, I think it was in San Francisco or Oakland, I forget exactly, on his face, handcuffed with a knee in his back. When the officer shot him in the back and killed him right there in front of everybody, and Johannes Mejrli. And Johannes Mejrli said that he was reaching for his taser, and he pulled his gun. Now to think about this here, remember what I just said about that training level. At training, I'm a trained officer. I'm a professional. I know where my gun is at. I know where my taser is at. At the same time, I got a man that's here. I got my knee in his back. I got him in handcuffs. He's down. What the fuck do I need a taser for? He's down. He's handcuffed. If he do anything, I got my partner standing here. This is all logic, right? But keep in mind the fact that for some strange reason, there was a certain level of aggression that had to be achieved when it came to dealing with this black person. You understand? Don't ask me why, don't ask me how. But that's just the way the world works. But at the same time, what I'm explaining to you guys, what you guys need to have an understanding of is that when it comes to dealing with the police department, right? The number one element, this is why when you see the police don't get prosecuted, when they fight these cases, you'll see the police might want to go to jail. And the thing about the police not going to jail is that when you're looking at their cases and you can't figure it out, it's because on the outside, you have no understanding of the fact that all the police got to simply do is say, I thought my life was in danger. Why did you shoot him in the back? He was running and he put his hands up. I thought he had a gun. He was finna turn and shoot. That's all it takes. Why did you shoot him in the back? I was chasing him and he ran into a backyard and it was dark. I heard him. I heard something that sounded like it was metal, and I thought he pulled the gun and he was about to shoot. Shit, he was on the fence, motherfucker, jumping the gate, trying to run for his life. But that simple thing, I thought my life was in danger, is enough to clear an officer on something as simple as a murder. because of the fact that he has the ability and the opportunity to have the belief that he is in danger. And that's all it takes. Because when he say that, they're going to say, well, okay, we want everybody to make it back home to their families tonight. And that's very important right there. And this is something to keep in mind, because I don't know who, how, or what, but for the young people, you watching this video, pay attention. Something I want y'all to pay attention to is understand the rules of engagement with the police. Don't be no motherfucker to turn around and break and run your ass up in a dark space where ain't no witnesses at. Because now they can kill your ass and say anything, and the only story told is the story they're telling. What you want to do is, if you encounter the police, you want to encounter the police in an open space. If there's witnesses, the more the better, because they're going to pull out camcorders, cell phones, and start taping. You want that. The reason you want that is because of the fact that there's going to be less abuse attached to your interaction with them. At the same time, there's a greater chance of you making it to the hospital, to the jail alive. If you run into a backyard, you might fuck around and catch a bullet or two. K. Kern Green said, okay, what about in a case where the police woman walked in the wrong house and killed the black man? In the case where you're talking about in Texas, was that Amber Geiger or some shit like that there when she killed Botham Jean? But the thing about that is this here, man, that was an unjustified shooting, because to start with, I don't believe, see, watch this once again. Listen to what I told y'all. If you listen to what I said, when a shooting takes place with a police officer, the first thing they do is isolate the police officer. They're going to isolate the police officer. They're going to get a union representative. They're going to get a media person and a lawyer. You will never hear the story told by the officer, not in the courtroom, not anywhere. In my belief, when the police officer walked in, that woman walked in at her man's house and shot him, I believe that they had a previous interaction, relationship, or something. Because we don't make mistakes like that. We don't make mistakes where we just walk into the wrong fucking house. I can be dead asleep off my feet with my eyes closed. I know where I park my car, where I get on the elevator. I know motherfucking well if it's 27 floors in my building, but I know that that I live on the motherfucking third floor. So if I can't see, I'm gonna count with my fingers, 1, 2, 3, get me to the third floor. I'm also looking around at what's in front of me. I know my floor mats. I know my welcome mat. You understand what I'm saying? I know and no excuse in the world of anything that can justify the fact that woman walked in that man's house and just shot him. There had to be some kind of previous interaction, relationship, or misunderstanding or something. How in the fuck do you not know where you live? I don't see that. I don't see that simply because of the fact that if I walk into somebody else's house, I'm gonna look around. How the fuck I walk in the wrong house, and I'm gonna walk in your house and you got white leather furniture in your house, and I got black upholstery. I got black cloth furniture. How the fuck am I gonna make such a dumbass mistake? That's not logical. It is not fucking logical. That's some shit that's so far out. But remember what I said. They isolate the police officer. They don't talk to anybody after the shooting. They got the media person that talks to the news. They got the union representative, because they're going to be the ones that are going to pay for the legal fees and get the lawyers out. And then they got the lawyer, because the lawyer got to know the story, because they got to fight the case. These three people are going to create a narrative. That's how it's going to come about to where the story going to be whatever it was. And then this is the most fucked up thing they always going to do is they're going to criminalize the victim always. That's another dirty ass tactic that the police department uses. When they killed Botham Jean sitting in his own motherfucking house, minding his own motherfucking business, doing whatever the fuck he do, the first thing they came up with was some bullshit like, well, we found marijuana in the house. What the fuck that got to do with a bitch walking in the house gunning him down in his own home? You know what I mean? K. Kern Green said, so she wasn't in uniform. Why she wasn't charged with first-degree murder? Why was you charged with first-degree murder? She wasn't charged with first-degree murder because of the fact that it goes back to what I just said a second ago. The union representative, the media person, and the lawyer created a narrative, and they drove that narrative. That's why she wasn't charged with first-degree murder. You understand what I mean? For whatever the reason was. Because this is first-degree murder. Now, remember this. If you don't know, look it up. Premeditated murder is first-degree murder, meaning that I have to have the intent to kill. I believe she should have been charged with first-degree murder because listen to what I said to start with. It is my theory and belief that they had to have some means of interaction, misunderstanding, relationship, or something. How in the fuck do I wander into your house and not know I'm wandering into your house? You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, when I say that simply because of the fact that when we looking at this here, it was something to this other than a situation of me being in the wrong house. I walk in the wrong house, the first thing I'm gonna do is be so fucking embarrassed. I'm trying to tiptoe back out of that motherfucker. She walked into his house. Come on now. You telling me that this bitch and him shopped at IKEA and bought the same motherfucking furniture? You telling me that this bitch got the same motherfucking art on the walls that he got? You telling me this bitch got the same welcome mat on her fucking floor that he got? You telling me this bitch got pictures of his mama in her fucking house too? See, it don't add up. And that's what I'm talking about. When I say that, simply because of the fact that when I look at the murder of Botham Jean, how in the fuck did this add up? If I walk in your house, I know motherfucking well it ain't my house. I can feel the difference. I know it ain't. Shit, I got a motherfucking green welcome mat. You got a red one. I got African art on the walls in my apartment, and you got motherfucking Spanish shit on your walls like sombreros and shit like that there. I walk in the house, I got leather couches in my house. You got motherfucking cloth. How the fuck I don't know I'm in the wrong house? See, but the point I'm making is, don't never forget this. If you want to have a greater understanding of what it takes in order to have how they justify these cases, it's all about the art of storytelling. Don't never forget what a Johnny Cochran type of motherfucker could do. Remember what he did for OJ. A motherfucker sit up and actually tell a story, do a double twist and a backflip on this shit here, and make you double think what you thought. Look at Rodney King. You understand what I mean? And that's another great example. But the point I'm making is simple. The narrative is always going to be drawn out. See, first and foremost, the victim story is never told. Think about all these young black men that were murdered by the police department. Unless it was caught on camera, the story was never told. And even if it was caught on camera, the story wasn't told the way that it happened. Don't forget that. That's very important right there, what I just said. Because they'll show you a camera and there'll be some other shit you watching on camera and they telling you what you see. That's a big difference from what you're actually seeing. They said you watching a motherfucker get hit with a baton, tased, kicked, right? The motherfucker trying his best. He got electricity going through his body. He's shaking like a motherfucker. He's trying to stand up because the motherfucker feel like if he stay on the ground, he's gonna die. At the same time, he's trying to raise his motherfucking head up because of the fact that he got a motherfucker to keep kicking him in the back of the head, right? He doing everything it takes in order to survive this ordeal, or at least to get through this shit here and be as physically able as he can. But when you're watching the video and it's being narrated by the police department, they're going to say, well, you see right here, they tried to restrain him and he reached for the officer's baton. No, he didn't reach for the baton. His ass was trying not to get hit no more when he was trying to cover his face up. You see right here, he wouldn't stay still and he got to his knees and he was about to attack the other officer. No, he wasn't trying to get to his knees because he was being attacked by the other officer. He got to his motherfucking knees because he was being tased and had electricity running through his body, and he couldn't even control his fucking motor skills. You see what I'm saying? See, when the story is told, don't never forget it's the art of storytelling. He who tells the greatest story tells the best story. This shit ain't nothing but heroes and villains. We grew up watching motherfucking movies and reading comic books where there's always heroes and villains. That is what you're faced with when you're watching the police department. That is why you will never hear, you have never heard a police officer tell the story of what happened when they murdered somebody. You understand what I mean? And that's crazy as fuck. You know what I mean? K. Kern Green said, another thing is, did they say anything about how she did or didn't realize her key didn't work? That's what I'm saying right there. That's another thing I'm saying right there. I don't know if they just said anything about how the key didn't work. But this is the funny thing to me. I ain't the smartest motherfucker in the world. But goddamn it, to me, I don't know. She might have had a fucking key. There was some interaction prior to this from them. There's no way in this world that this officer can live above this person or below this person, and they've never had an interaction. We live in the same fucking building for years, months, or whatever. How can I live? How can I live in 201 and you live in 101? When I come outside and sit and come right outside in the open area, in the common area, I can look up and see you right above my door. Sometimes you might make noise. I might have to knock on the door or tap on the ceiling. You see what I'm saying? How in the fuck do we not have interaction? That's the point right there. How the fuck don't I know you? If you live in a place long enough, you get to know all your neighbors directly or indirectly, meaning that you either know them by name formally, or you know them just simply because you know who they are, because you know where they live, because they've been around you for so long. There's no way in this world it's a fucking coincidence that you walk in my apartment and you don't know where you're at. Shit, I can ride a motherfucking elevator and get off on the wrong floor and know where the fuck I'm at simply because if I've been here so many times, my sense of direction is going to tell me where I'm at. If I'm going to my own space, when I walk in my own space, I can smell the fucking air and tell you if I'm at home or not, because I know the shit that I like and I know the shit that I do. I'm gonna smell my own cologne. I'm gonna smell my own soap. That's my senses at work. So you understand what I'm saying? I speak like that simply because of the fact that there's more to the story that's been told. Once again, remember this: that police officer that killed that man in his home, that officer that killed that man in his home like that, the first thing they did was they isolated her. They put her in the backseat of a police car somewhere. She spoke with a union rep. That was the person that was going to provide the legal defense for her. They spoke with a media person. That's the person that spun the story and gave it to the news. And she spoke with the lawyer. Between these three people, they created a narrative and they rolled that narrative out no matter what happened. That's why when you watch the Rodney King beating and Rodney King getting the shit beat out of him by the police, and what you're seeing when you're watching the Rodney King beating is a black man getting beat the fuck up by these four officers, and they're using every means and any means to try to whoop his ass or beat the life out of him. They're whooping his ass in a modern day lynching. And what you're actually seeing when you're watching this, right? You're watching it happen right before your very eyes. But as it's going on and they're telling the story, they showing a motherfucker taser motherfucker, and he jump up off the ground because he got electricity running through his body, and they putting charges to him. And they saying he's attacking an officer. D-Bop, what's up, homie? I see you, man. James Woods, JW 7498. Peace and blessings, good brother, good health to the big homie Madd. But hey, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Mark Robinson said, teach my brother, my comrade. Hey, man, I'm just trying to share information, homie. You know what I mean? I'm online, man. I feel a little bit better. I was talking about COVID-19 earlier, man. You know, I'm in the space right now where I've been discussing police murder and how they justifying the murders of killing young black men and how they utilizing things like I believe that I believe it was to my belief that my life was in danger. And that right there justified the police having the ability to kill a young black man. But also something I'm sharing is if, and everybody should be doing it. I know that if y'all got kids, I swear to God, I hope y'all having to talk with y'all kids about dealing with the police. And that's something that comes up, that's something in our culture that's passed down and it's in our DNA, right? And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. It's in our DNA because of the fact that there was a time when, let us say, if you had a son and he was old enough to go to church. This is in times when black people were still enslaved, or black people weren't enslaved, but we were living in a time of Jim Crow and all of the prejudices and all this bullshit, right? Let us say you was old enough to go to church by yourself. Now you go to church by yourself. You yourself, mama got to talk to you. Right now, y'all listen to this because this shit might sound familiar to you. Mama got to talk to you because you're gonna be traveling alone. What mama gonna tell you is, you run into them white people, you don't look them in the eye. You say, "Sir." They ask where you going. You tell them where you going, and you can go straight there. You come straight back. Mama gonna give you all the information it takes for you to go where you got to go and make it home safely, or as safe as you can be. Because they had slave catchers, motherfuckers that would try to catch you and sell you into slavery, even if you were free. There was so many different things. See, the police department was developed after slavery because the police department are nothing but the slave catchers. That's where it comes from. Penitentiaries were developed after slavery. The United States Constitution states that slavery has been abolished only except for the convicted felon. That's in the United States Constitution. So they are still catching slaves, sending them to these modern day plantations, which is called the prison industrial complex. The same conversation that mama had when you left home and was old enough to come home by yourself or at night, that's that same conversation that we have with our children right now. When we talk about when you go to the store, you go, or when the boy turns 9 or 10 and he be able to go out and hang out with his friends and come back home from the movies by himself or catch the bus or whatever, and you're gonna have that conversation with your son, and you're gonna say this to your son: when you run into the police, not if, when you run into the motherfucking police, don't look the police in his eye. Call him sir. When he asks you where you're going, tell him where you're going. Don't make no trouble, because what you telling your child, you're actually just arming them with the information in order to make it home safely. Because of the fact that young black men are still subjected to the same type of shit they were nowadays that they were subjected to back then. If a young black man, if you talk to your child and tell them about their interaction with the police, you always tell them, keep your motherfucking hands in plain sight. Always be in a visible space where there are people that can see you to assure your safety. Make sure that you yourself are in a place where if it's dangerous dealing with the police, that you got the most light. Look around. Make sure there are people there with cameras. Make sure that there are people there that got cell phones going. Make sure, don't do no dumbass shit like turn around and run up in a dark ass backyard where the police can chase you, where the dogs barking, a bunch of confusion, and they fuck around and shoot you and kill you. So you don't do no shit like that. The police stop you on the sidewalk, stay right on the motherfucking sidewalk, because you got a greater chance of surviving that ordeal. Surviving that ordeal might mean simply just going to motherfucking jail. And I think it's better to go to jail than it is to die by being dumb and scared. Just that fucking simple. I don't know who's in their house looking out of the window, just taping my situation, but I got a better chance of the story being told if I stop and put my hands up. You understand what I'm saying? I got a better chance of the story being told if I myself, you know what I'm saying, am somewhat complying with what's going on. See, we can sort out the issues of why you're being harassed later on. But at this present moment, when these two motherfuckers with these guns that are going through whatever they going through, motherfucker might have woke up this morning and ain't getting no pussy. His wife might be fucking a black motherfucker that look like me or something. And this motherfucker right here might just want to take my life because I remind him of the bad experience that he's having at home. Then the reality of that is that what I have to do is live through this situation. This is the experience that we should be teaching our children about at these young ages. If you're not, you should be. These boys have to have an understanding. These boys have to have an understanding of what it is and what they need to do in order to come, when they come in contact and interaction with the fucking law. You understand what I'm saying? Fuck all that shit you see in these movies. Fuck all that bullshit ass shit that their friends tell them. Yeah, the parents need to be giving me information. The parents are the ones that need to be educating them. See, if you're doing, I don't give a fuck if you're breaking the law. If you're caught, fuck it, I'm caught. Don't run, because you ain't doing shit worth your life. And that's the honest to God truth. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't doing, no matter what you're doing, you go to jail, you're gonna get out of jail. You do some dumbass shit like run and they swear to God you got a gun or something, your ass might fuck around and go to the fucking coroner's office. So be smart about this shit here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm being so fucking honest. You know what I mean? And I mean that because of the fact that it's like this here, man. If I don't tell you this reality, if I don't share this information with you, nobody might ever. If I don't give you the information and tell you to share it with your young brothers, your sons, your nephews, or whoever else, nobody might ever. But by me having the ability to share this information with you, what that does is that might save somebody's motherfucking life. When you're sitting down and you're hanging out with your little nephews, your little brothers, your little kids, your sons, whatever, you can educate them and give them the understanding and the information, because they need to have their eyes open and have that understanding at an early age, man. We don't want to fuck around and be burying more kids. We don't want to have more incidents where our kids are being murdered by the fucking police department. Always let them know it's better to get detained and go to the fucking jail where I can come and get you than it is for a motherfucker to shoot you because you ran and fucked around and scared them. Remember what I said earlier. The police can get away with a fucking murder simply by the fact that saying, I thought my life, it was to my belief that my life was in danger. I'm running from a motherfucking police officer. I'm running and I got a lead on the police by about 20 or 30 feet, but I start slowing down because I'm tired. The police get within 10 feet of me. I stop and put my hands up. He pulls his gun and shoots me in the back and murders me. All he got to do is say the motherfucker slowed down. He put his hands up, and I thought he was finna turn around and open fire on me with a gun. And they're going to say, well, we didn't find no gun, or they're going to plant a gun. But the most important thing, what I'm saying to you, and I want y'all to understand, is that have an understanding of the fact that this shit here is dead serious, what I'm saying to you, because of the fact that that level of information of dealing with the police department is needed and is necessary. And the reason that is necessary is because your little brothers, your kids, your cousins, your nephews, shit, even your daughters and your sisters need that information. Shit, the police ain't discriminating. They gun down who the fuck they can when they do. And I'm just telling y'all that simply because of the fact that as Black people, we have to be sharing information like this on a regular basis. We have to have an understanding. If Black lives matter, they got to matter to Black people first. Don't never forget I said that to y'all. If Black lives matter, they must matter to Black people first. Black people themselves have to have an understanding of what it takes in order to have preservation of Black life. I'm one that myself personally, I myself am a great supporter of all of this pro-Black shit. I love it. Black Lives Matter, all that shit there. I love it. I'm 100% behind it. I'm the greatest supporter. But I don't support the weekend because I'm Black every day of the motherfucking week. I'm Black every motherfucking day of the year. So when the supporters come out and we got 20,000 Caucasians and Hispanics and Asians and everybody, I love it. I love the fact that Black Lives, it wasn't Black Lives Matter. It was just that the people recognize the levels of inequality that Black people have been dealing with for so long. They don't realize that this shit is a part of our DNA. They don't realize that, all this inequality is nothing new to us. See, to the white people sitting around in the coffee shop, it's like, oh God, they're killing Black people in America. Motherfucker put his knee on a guy's neck and just took his life just like that. Oh God. They killed a Black guy in Georgia jogging down the street, you know what I'm saying, and hunted him down like a wild animal. Oh shit, they're killing Black people in motherfucking Louisville, Kentucky. You know what I mean? Oh God, the police raided the girl's house and thought she said she had drugs, and killed her in the bed, shot her 8 times, and her boyfriend shot a cop and caught her attempted murder because he thought somebody was breaking in the house. These are coffee shop conversations that become a reality to the extent to where now the mobilization of the outside forces in our Caucasian counterparts come together. And what they do is they come out and they say, well, we support our Black friends. We support, you know what I mean, the Black culture. But this is an interesting thing, y'all. Just because you come out for a weekend, just because your ass come out for a motherfucking week, that's cool. You know what I mean? But eventually everybody got to go home. Black people still Black, dealing with the injustices of the world. So I say to Black people themselves, what we need to be doing as Black people is, before we get out in the streets and we start trying to have motherfucking marches, before we get out in the motherfucking street and start trying to protest, somewhere through here, we got to sit down among ourselves. We got to come to a realization of what representation is. We have to come to a realization of what we truly want. Because if we get down to it with all these motherfuckers, we all want something different. Some of us want to defund the police department. Some of us want to criminalize the chokeholds and all of the brutality that's been going on with the police departments. Some of us want motherfucking reparations. We're in a million different places. What we need to be doing, y'all, is figuring out what's the one commonality of all of this shit here that brings us together and what we need to be coming together for. When we get to that point, then we create a petition, because we can't be in a million places. We got motherfuckers that want to loot the stores, burn the buildings, all this bullshit. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. We got to be 100 and keep it real. And I'm going to keep it real with you as a motherfucker, man. We got to get together first. And see, this is why Black Lives Matter is cool and all that shit there. And I'm a great supporter of all that. But the reality of that, and I might offend the fuck out of some of y'all. Black lives don't fucking matter. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Black lives don't matter. And this is why Black lives don't matter, y'all. Because Black lives don't matter to Black motherfucking people. All that marching that's been done, all that motherfucking protesting that's been done, all them businesses that burned up, all them fucking people that came out, all that looting, all them police, all them National Guard, all that shit, right? Watch this. Black motherfuckers is back out in the street murdering each other right now. Next week, it's going to be more black motherfuckers. If you down with the motherfucking movement and the preservation of black life, cool. But don't show up for the photo op in the party. The same motherfuckers that's sitting up hollering Black Lives Matter and talking that bullshit last week, them will be the same. Half of them young motherfuckers gonna be half them motherfuckers that's gonna be out here chasing down and shooting black motherfuckers next week. So if we not gonna have a fucking rally with thousands of motherfuckers out in the streets protesting motherfucking violence in the communities that we come from, if we are not gonna be out in the motherfucking streets protesting when a black man kills a black man, talking about the safety of our own community and the well-being of the people that live in our communities, if we're not gonna have a motherfucking rally 2,000 deep and shut down all the motherfucking businesses and get out in the streets and draw attention to the fact that we have access to these fucking automatic weapons that the government have brought into our communities to enforce these drugs, if we ain't gonna do all that there, if we ain't gonna be out in the street hollering Black Lives Matter when a motherfucking black man kill a black man over the color of his clothes, his tennis shoes, or whatever bandana he wear, then miss me with that bullshit. And I'm that way simply because of the fact that black lives only matter when a white man kills a black man or a fucking police officer kills a black man. But the bigger picture is there are more black people killed by black people statistically than anybody else. So if anybody need to get their shit together, it's us. We need to get our shit together. Tupac said, it ain't them that's killing us, it's us that's killing us. You motherfucking right. So when I'm speaking from a realistic point of view because of the fact that I see hypocrisy in this. Don't miss what I said earlier. I'm the greatest supporter of this pro-blackness and all of this shit here. I am the greatest supporter, but I also recognize hypocrites also. See, I'm not a part of the fucking trend. I'm not a part of the fad. I don't give a fuck about the party. But if I'm going to keep it 100 and I'm going to be here and I'm going to be in it and I'm going to be with it, I'm going to be that. Next week, don't be the same motherfucker that was out here jumping up and down on the cars, setting shit on fire, looting shit, hollering George Floyd's name. But then at the same time, the following week, your ass is sitting up here shooting at another black motherfucker hollering, fuck that nigga. Because you're going to have an understanding. Are you black? Does black life matter to you? Or are you just another motherfucker? Are you just another nigga shooting at another nigga? And please excuse me for using language like that because I don't use that word. I want y'all to take that into consideration and understanding because of the fact that the reality of this is the gravity and the weight of that. People that have no understanding and don't want to be and don't want to have a belief, people that want to put their hands over their motherfucking ears when you start talking like that there, that's a whole nother element. Because when I get in public and we start talking this Black Lives Matter, we start talking about how the white people killing us, how the police killing us, all this other shit. We start talking about these thousands of motherfuckers that have mobilized, showed the fuck up, shut the city down, shut all the businesses down, all this crazy shit, right? I'm looking at all this and where the fuck was y'all at when the young boy was killed down the street where they got the candlelight vigil right now? We got candlelight vigils all over motherfucking Los Angeles. I ain't seen one motherfucking major rally or march behind none of that shit. I might have seen 10, 20, or 30 motherfuckers gathered that lit the candles and had the vigil. But I ain't seen damn motherfuckers talk about nothing to do nothing in order to motherfuckers try to stop the violence and the bullshit. And that's the honest truth, and that's a great reality right there. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Because once again, if we ain't gonna do shit to make it safe in our own community among ourselves, we ain't doing shit. So when the police kill us, they only emulating what we already doing to our motherfucking selves. See what I'm saying? That makes a lot of people uncomfortable, and a lot of people don't want to hear that. But that's the motherfucking truth and the real reality of this here. So if Black Lives Matter, it better matter to black people. If Black Lives Matter to black people, that means you motherfuckers need to put your fucking guns down and start acting civil among each other. Because evidently you motherfuckers are just here for the party, and that ain't gonna go on too long. You know what I mean? All that shit plays out and the white people going home. Then you're gonna be subjected to be among the people that you among. And on that note, y'all, I'm signing out. I'm out of this motherfucker, man. Y'all have a good one, man. Support my platforms. Y'all know MaddRonaldRadio.net. Y'all know the Madd Ronald Radio Network podcast on Facebook. Motherfucking Madd Ronald Radio Vision, Madd Ronald Radio Vision on YouTube, Madd_Ronald_Roland on Instagram. Support, follow, like, and share my content. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my way out of here, man. I'm kind of exhausted. I've been online for quite some time. So for everybody here, man, I wish you all health, wealth, peace, and prosperity. And I wish you safety. Once again, I'm truly appreciative and thankful for all your well wishes, for all your prayers, and all of your support, man. And on that note, man, Madd Ronald was out of this motherfucker, man. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Be safe, man. Black lives do matter, too. In broadcast. All right. Okay, now. I use that one. Today is May 14th. June. How you feel? 14, 2020. Turn that fan off if you want.
Nah, not mine. If you want to
Turn it down.
Or we turn on the air conditioner?
Nah, because that'll make me sick. Turn it down. Turn the fan down, open the door. Turn it down, open the door.
Excuse me.
Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Let me go back. Why my shit put me right there? I'm gonna be somewhere else in this motherfucker. Okay, put me right there. Oh, StreamYard.